Welcome to this explainer. Okay, picture this. You need a new credit card, or, maybe a vacuum cleaner or a coffee maker. So you hop online, type in best travel card, and bam, you are instantly drowning. I'm talking 15 open tabs, cross-referencing these top 10 listicles that totally contradict each other, but magically they all link to the exact same application page. You're fighting off cookie pop-ups, you're dodging aggressive newsletter demands, and staring at a wall of text that honestly feels like a robot just vomited keywords onto your screen. It's exhausting, right? This is peak decision fatigue. It's this relentless maze of, well, let's just call it what it is, algorithmic sludge. But hey, today we're looking at something different. We're going to dive into a fascinating model that's actively fighting back against this mess, offering a completely different way to consume financial advice that actually respects your time and intelligence.
So let's just jump right in and ask a super simple question to challenge how we normally use the internet. Who is actually writing these credit card reviews? Seriously, think about it. When you're hunting for that perfect cashback card, how do you really know if a glowing recommendation is genuine? Well, the uncomfortable reality of the modern internet is that a lot of these reviews are just cleverly disguised paid placements. They are designed for one thing: maximizing affiliate revenue. Often, the writers are freelancers getting paid by the word, hired to hype up premium financial products that they probably don't even qualify for, let alone carry in their own wallets. Every time you click apply and get approved, that website gets a massive commission. So they're heavily incentivized to push the cards with the absolute biggest payouts, rather than the ones that actually make sense for your specific financial situation. The editors over at a site called PicksByCard hit the nail on the head with this brutal truth. Most credit card content is written by people who would never actually carry the card they recommend. We're dealing with an internet that is just completely flooded with this affiliate disguised content. You know exactly the type of site I'm talking about. The ones with those 30,000-word best-of articles that somehow magically sit at the very top of your search results. It's honestly a joke at this point. You basically have to read a deeply personal, comprehensive history of the modern banking system just to find out if a piece of plastic has a foreign transaction fee. The whole system is built to keep you scrolling past ads and clicking those links. The end result? You get a paid list dressed up as a real recommendation, and the publisher walks away with a fat commission check.
But there is a solution to this exhausting cycle. And that brings us to the Daily Picks Network. This is an ecosystem of 7 curated, daily fresh sites that acts as a total antidote to this modern internet headache. Their whole philosophy boils down to one incredibly simple idea. Things should be picked by people who actually look. Because let's face it, in an era where AI can scrape the web and spit out a top 10 list in like 4 seconds, the value of actual, genuine human legwork has absolutely skyrocketed. What does it actually mean to have a person look? It means someone is evaluating the product, digging into the nuances, and making a qualitative judgment call that an algorithm just can't fake. It's a much-needed return to genuine human curation, covering everything from home services to recipes and, what we're focusing on today, financial products.
This brings us to their strict editorial philosophy, which they call the Daily Picks Promise. And it is a pretty radical departure from what we're used to. First up, every single item is picked by a person. There's no algorithmically generated engagement bait junk just to keep you clicking. Second, it's fresh every day. You're not drinking from a fire hose of endless content. You get a single, curated item that's actually worth 2 minutes of your day. Third, absolutely no paywalls or email walls to block you. The site itself is the product. But the fourth point, that's where the real magic happens. Absolutely no pay-to-play. In today's internet, ad revenue dictates rankings almost everywhere. But by strictly labeling sponsored placements and keeping them totally separate from their editorial rankings, they are pulling off a massive business model shift. Literally, no bank, no matter how huge the marketing budget is, can buy a higher rank on their list.
We've all been there, staring blankly at those exhausting 1,000-row comparison tables. You know the ones. You type in your credit score, and suddenly you are just drowning in an endless spreadsheet of points, miles, APRs, and intro offers, all while hidden affiliate rankings quietly push certain cards to the top. Well, PicksByCard completely trashes those massive tables in favor of a small, highly opinionated guide. They don't want to show you everything, they just want to show you the best thing. Every single card they list comes with a real, heavily researched take written by an editor who actually uses the card. We're talking about real people who sit down, do the hard math on point valuations, calculate the exact break-even points, and honestly decide if a card is genuinely worth keeping in their own wallet.
The absolute bedrock of this whole approach is radical transparency. Think about this classic consumer trap we've all almost fallen for. You get lured in by some flashy banners screaming about 100,000 bonus points. You're already dreaming of free flights to Hawaii, you're clicking through, filling out your address, and then boom. Buried on page 4 of the application in tiny light gray font, you spot a massive, unavoidable annual fee. Yikes. PicksByCard completely flips that script. Their internal rule is super straightforward. If a card costs $325 a year, they say so before they say absolutely anything else. No hiding the cost behind a flashy sign-up bonus. By putting those massive annual fees right up front, they fundamentally shift the power dynamic straight back to you, the reader, building instant, genuine trust. And instead of bombarding you with endless options and conflicting reviews that pit luxury travel cards against basic starter cards, they organize everything simply by how you actually spend your money. Their focus is broken down neatly into travel, cashback, no annual fee, starter, and premium. Why is this so crucial? Because it completely skips the whole genre flame war. People are constantly getting tricked into applying for these premium heavy metal cards they absolutely do not need, just because of the perceived prestige or some cool unboxing video online. Look, if you just want to save money on groceries for your family, you don't need airport lounge access. You need cash back. By organizing around your actual lifestyle instead of card tiers, they force you to look at categories that match your real life and your actual spending habits. When you actually dig into their travel category, you can see exactly how this mathematical approach plays out. They cut straight through the noise and highlight the Chase Sapphire Preferred as their ultimate, tested editor's pick. They call it the honest middle of the travel category. But here is the kicker. It is the absolutely only middle that earns the recommendation. They aren't going to just list 5 mediocre mid-tier cards to fill up space and cast a wider affiliate net. No way. They actually break down the point valuations, analyze the massive value of travel partner transfers, and mathematically prove exactly why this specific card crushes the dozens of mediocre competitors in its exact same tier. It's about giving you the single best option that genuinely makes mathematical sense. So what does this human-led, math-driven curation actually look like out in the wild? Well, let's look at a real-world example from today's daily pick on their platform. Rather than just tossing a card at you and hyping up the sign-up bonus, they pump the brakes and ask, is this card actually for you? They want you to genuinely think about your life. Are you planning big grocery runs for a growing family, or maybe a huge summer road trip? Do you spend upwards of $3,000 a year in those highly specific categories? By starting with these qualifying questions, they are perfectly matching the financial product to a very specific upcoming expense profile. It ensures you're only applying for a card if you're actually going to get the maximum value out of it. Now, if you match that specific spending profile, here's the payoff. They recommend the US Bank Cash Plus Visa Signature Card, simply because it offers a massive 5% cash back on 2 chosen categories, like groceries or gas. Now, sure, 5% might sound a little small in passing, but let's contextualize that math for a second. 5% on a family's annual grocery and gas budget isn't just pocket change. If you're spending $500 a month on groceries, that is $300 back in your pocket every single year, literally just for paying with a different piece of plastic. When you pair that with other discounts or loyalty programs, that 5% becomes a total game changer. That's real, tangible savings, making an actual impact on your household budget.
But here's the ultimate proof of their honest curation. They don't just sell you the dream, they hit you with the pragmatic facts right alongside it. Most affiliate sites will purposely bury their required credit score or the annoying maintenance rules of a card just to make sure you click apply without second guessing. Not here. They prominently note that to get this card without worrying about astronomical rates, you need a good to excellent credit score of 700 or higher. And even better, they highlight the chores. They explicitly remind you that you have to review and update those cashback categories annually, otherwise you lose the benefit. By pointing out the strict entry requirements and the ongoing maintenance, the site proves it cares way more about your long-term financial health than scoring a quick, uninformed affiliate click. And the best part? This commitment to real context and human curation isn't just some gimmick for finance. It's a model that scales. It spans their entire network, applying the exact same rigorous honesty to all kinds of decisions. Just look at how this network operates. Picks by Game entirely skips those generic top 50 board games of all time lists and instead recommends games based entirely on who is actually sitting at the table with you. Picks by Model ranks hundreds of different AI models based on highly specific use cases, weighing complex factors like context length against latency, which is a huge lifesaver for developers right now, instead of just listing the most famous bots. From totally free US housing market research to curating gifts by occasion, it's this incredibly unified ecosystem built entirely on trust and real human effort.
So, I'm going to leave you with this provocative thought to deeply chew on the next time you open up a search engine looking for a recommendation. Think about the last thing you bought based on a blog post. Are your financial decisions, or really any of your purchasing decisions, guided by real math, rigorous testing, and genuine human experience? Or are they just driven by algorithmic sludge designed to extract a commission from your wallet? Look, we do not have to accept an internet broken by SEO and fake reviews. It is high time we demand better, more honest curation from the platforms we trust. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and stay curious out there.